You're watching Reaction Check.
Hello YouTube and welcome to Reaction Check. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now you know from a lot of different videos that I've done in the past that I'm afraid of ghosts and I don't like watching horror films, but today's trailer is Ghost Stories official trailer. It stars Janvi Kapoor, Sobita Dhulipala, Gulshan Devia and Mrunal Thakur. Now there was another series that we actually watched last year. I watched last year on Netflix. It's called Lust Stories, and it was absolutely amazing. There were a lot of different directors who actually produced or directed separate stories or short films or short stories in that particular series. And it turned out to be a really interesting concept for all the people to actually watch. The streaming is actually changing a lot of things that we are watching nowadays. There's a streaming war going on online between Disney, Netflix, Apple Plus TV. There's a lot that is going on, and users or consumers like us have a lot of options to actually watch. Now Netflix has been there for a long time in India and around the world, has been there for the net stream. For streaming. Now there's a lot of content available, but specifically content like this, which is from a specific country. Now me being from Pakistan, and I actually also understand and view a lot of Indian content, enables me to enjoy all this content that is being made. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, we don't get a lot of great content that is being produced, but who knows in future what might happen. But today what we're going to watch is this Ghost Stories trailer. Now a little bit of information that I could actually find about this particular thing. It's the directors that have actually that are included in this particular Ghost Stories series are Karan Johar, Dibakar Banerjee, Zoya Akhtar, which I'm really big fan of. Karan Johar from Last Story. I really like the short film that was directed by him. We've got Anurag Kashyap. Who doesn't know Anurag Kashyap? And now this is also co-produced by Ronnie Screwwala and Ashi Dua under their production banner RSVP. RSVP movies, or the trailers that I've actually watched from them, are superb. They're absolutely amazing. And now there are a lot of stars. The cast including in this is there Mrunal Thakur, Avinash Tiwari, Janvi Kapoor, Raghuveer Yadav, Sobita Dhulipala, Vijay Verma, and Pavel Gulati. It is releasing on the 1st of January 2020, so it's going to be the first day to scare the shit out of you. So here's the thing, right? Like I said, I really don't watch these horror films, and this is going to be one of the trailers that I want to do for the reaction and see how we actually end up doing this. Let's watch the trailer and see what we have in this one. Okay. शादी हो रही है भाई.
ग्रानी सॉरी वो खटखटाते हुए नहीं सुना. गुड नाइट. जस्ट से गुड नाइट.
किसी ध्रुव गुड नाइट कहो. मुझे कोई दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है.
नहीं डोंट बी अपसेट ग्रानी.
Shit. What was that?
हेलो आंटी, मैं समीरा. ममता सिस्टर ने बदली पे भेजा है.
पापा, जब मासी की बेबी आएगा, मासी मुझको प्यार नहीं करेगी.
पापा कहाँ हैं आपके?
खा गए इसके पापा को.
जिंदा रहे तो लाइट बंद करो. कुछ भी दिखे हिलना मत. जब मैं बोलूं भागो तो भागना.
दरवाजे पे कोई है?
कोई नहीं है दरवाजे पे. कौन है?
She's dead. वो गुजरी नहीं है, सिर्फ मर गई.
Wow. Okay, when I was young, I remember watching this, horror TV show by the name of Ahat, and also there was another TV show that was very popular. It was called, I think it was on ZTV. It's called the Z India Horror Show or something like that, where the soundtrack and everything was really scary. Especially Ahat was really scary, and I remember watching it every Thursday or Friday. It used to come on Sony TV, and I used to get really scared. Although watching horror film is like eating spicy food. No matter how much you don't like eating spicy food, but you still end up eating spicy food, and it somehow makes you feel something very different than other food, which other food doesn't do. And horror film does the same thing. I personally think that to make a horror film, it's much easier than making a comedy film, because people get scared very easily. Now, because people get scared very easily, the ideas that you bring in front of people have to be very unique and very, very interesting. Comedy, on the other hand, is a different ball game, but horror films are very interesting to actually explore, because every and each story that you actually watch plays something in your head even after you watch, even after you finish watching that particular horror film or horror skit, or maybe a horror story after you read somewhere. It still somewhere stays in your mind, and that is something that I really like about horror films. I mean, to be very honest, a lot of times when I watch a horror film, I end up sleeping in my bed, and I don't want to go to the toilet at night if I wake up, because it just keeps playing in my head. There are a lot of things that I've actually seen or have watched when I was really young, and that encouraged me to not watch anything in the future, because it can get very scary. And I'm not sure what sort of horror stories you've heard or horror things that you've experienced, but there have been a lot of friends that I've had in the past who've shared some different horror stories or horror films that I've actually watched, which were really scary. And I think one of the things that I remember from watching Ahat was this one story where Om Puri was starring in it, and he was, I think, a magician, and he would come in your dream and would kill you in your dream, and then when you wake up in the morning, you are all burned, because he would actually burn you in his dream. And there was a way to for him to enter the dream. That was one story that I really found really amazing, and it was really scary at that time. Another story that I remember was this. I think whenever someone was about to die, he would see this one image of this person who is there to take their life, the Jallad, or whatever you want to call it, or the angel of death. That was quite scary. People were running away from that. But both these stories, I remember them, because I'm watching this, so it reminds me of the horror films or horror stories that I've actually watched, which were really interesting as well to watch in the past. But overall, if you ask me, the concept of watching something like this, it's really interesting to actually explore, because there's a lot of content that is being produced online nowadays, which a lot of us are consuming, and this content is definitely interesting to watch, because there weren't many avenues for filmmakers or for creators to produce content. Like, for me to actually talk to you, it would have been very difficult 10 years or 20 years from now to have this particular channel. But online streaming or online platforms are changing a lot of things. So you've got the talent, you've got the things, you've got the story to tell, you can always bring it to people online, and it's a very interesting interaction that people also have. And overall, I'm really looking forward to watching Janhvi Kapoor act in this particular thing. I haven't seen any of her work in the past. I know it'll be interesting to watch Karan Johar producing a horror film. Anurag Kashyap produces a lot of dark content anyway, so I won't be surprised to see something really amazing from Anurag Kashyap. Zoya Akhtar, she has produced content which is emotionally very engaging. It engages you emotionally, so it will be interesting to see what sort of style of horror she brings onto the table for this particular Netflix series. Karan Johar, I'm really looking forward. If you're watching this, I'm really looking forward to watching your particular horror film. I hope it's scary, and we all get surprised by by the kind of movies or the kind of stories you can actually direct and bring to us. Like always, thank you so much for watching this with me. I'm really grateful that you're recommending and watching these with me. Until next video, take care of yourself. Adios.